One of the first things that I did when I had a sort of spiritual and emotional awakening long before I left the church, I realized I had 4 young children at home, and I realized that I was parenting my children the same way that I was parented. And I realized that that's not what I wanted to do because I didn't want my children to be afraid of me. I didn't love my parents, I was afraid of them. And I didn't want that for my kids. And so, in the midst of having a very obstinate 7-year-old who did not respond to any sort of discipline whatsoever, I had to try and, reconfigure that. And so I decided in my faith, in my Mormon faith, I decided that God was a perfect parent and that he was the only perfect parent. And so I decided to start a blog where I was going to explore through writing all of the ways that God was a perfect parent and all of the ways that none of us are. And I was like, I'm going to start with the Bible because that's the very beginning of the recorded history. And I started to read the Bible through the lens of God being a parent and how does he deal with his children when they make mistakes and when they, do things that are dumb, and how does he respond to all of this? And Tim is laughing because you don't have to go very far in the Bible to realize that God is just about the worst parent you could possibly be. And so all of my questions for God stem around that. If we are really to believe that God is benevolent, if he is unconditionally loving, if he's omnipresent, if he's omniscient, if he has all power, I guess if I have to distill it down to one question, if God is all powerful and he can do anything that he wants to do, meaning he can accomplish his purposes by any means possible, why does he still allow for the suffering of children and innocent people?